Hello, hello. Today we're talking about all things November. So, as I'm filming this, we are into December because you can't talk about November if you're still in November, and it is snowstorming outside. I think we're supposed to get 10 to 15 centimeters today, so it's very gloomy. I just finished filming part one of December's crystal purchases because I just got back from a crystal mixer. So the lighting is not great, but back to November. I feel like November, not a whole lot went down, not a whole lot happened, especially in the tarot realm. I did get some crystals in, so those are going to be in the video. I did do a lot of work with decks, so those are going to be in the video. But events? The only major event I can really talk about is that I joined a book club, which I love. I absolutely love it. And it kind of happened by accident. I was out for a girlfriend's birthday. Not her birthday, made that up. Just hanging out for a girls' night. She wanted to go play bingo. So we've been doing that a few times in the year, which is also very fun. Highly recommend. Very confusing at first, but once you get the hang of things, you get better. You do get better. You just watch the ladies around you, and men. There's also men there. But I've also found that people are super helpful if you have no idea what's happening. Everybody's really helpful. So it was a bingo night, and my girlfriend had mentioned that she is in a book club. And I was like, what? How are you in a book club? And I don't know this. So she was like, yeah, it just started. We're just on our first month. We meet again on Monday. This was like a Friday or Saturday night. She's like, we're meeting on Monday. They meet one Monday a month to discuss the book that they've selected and then to select the next book that you have the month to read. So, and there's food and there's drinks and chatting. So she was like, yeah, you wanna be in it? And I was like, yes, I do. Of course I want to be in your book club. So, she's like, great, you have 2 days to finish the book that we're reading. And I was like, what? So the book I read, I listened to it on Audible, was The Veiled Kingdom. I have opinions, you guys. I have opinions. Did not like it. I did not like it. I did not like the MMC, the main male character. Wasn't a fan. It's a series. There's other books out, or at least one, and I think there's more on the way. I probably won't continue with the series unless I get bored, but I did listen to that. It was only a 7-hour listen, so I listened to that in the 2 days before the book club meeting. Then we had the meeting where we discussed what we all thought about the book, and then we picked our next book. So how we pick the next book is there was 10 ladies, there's 10 of us in this book club. So everyone writes down the book they want to read on a piece of paper, and you toss it in a hat, and then we go around a circle, and the first person to pull out the paper says, the book we're not reading is. So then that one's out, and you go around, and then of course the last book standing is the last book that you end up reading. And there's no rules, no themes, no categories, no nothing. You can literally put whatever book you want to put in the hat. So when I was in Alberta in September, I went to a spa with the girls that I was there with, and there was another person at this spa reading this book. And a girl that I was with said to her, hey, I've heard a lot about that book. Do you like it? And she's like, yeah, it's pretty messed up, but it's really good. So that book was Verity by Colleen Hoover. So that was the book that I put in the hat. And lo and behold, that is the last piece of paper standing. That was the last one pulled out of the hat. So that is the one that we ended up reading. So I read Verity, and a girlfriend of mine gifted me the hard copy, not gifted, lent it to me. She lent me the hard copy because she had it. So I read my first hard copy book in a very, very, very long time. So I thought I would struggle with it because I haven't physically read a book in a long time, but I was fine. As far as my review of Verity, I was able to piece things together. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil anything. I was able to piece things together before the end, so it didn't come as that much of a shock to me, which is a little bit of a letdown. I try to go into books blind. I don't like reading reviews. I don't like reading synopsis. The only thing I really pay attention to is the star rating on Goodreads. And then if it's a 4 or more star, even like a 3.85, I'll go for it. So we read Verity, and then that kind of got the juices flowing. So I've read some other books in the meantime. And I thought I would get into the Christmas spirit of things. So I'm reading one right now. We're still in December. We're in the first week of December, so I will talk about it, but I'm not done it. But this one, is it on screen? Yep. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. This was obviously on sale at my local Shoppers Drug Mart. I thought I would hate this. It has a decent rating on Goodreads, but I was like, oh man, like I'm definitely gonna DNF this book. I'm not gonna finish it. I know it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I definitely recommend this as a holiday read. The one I'm reading right now is one that I thought I would really like, and I'm not enjoying it as much. I think I'm about halfway finished, and it is the How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. I'm listening to it on Audible, so I'll pop in a photo. It's very cliche, even down to the names of the characters. Like the main male character is Cole Black. The mayor of the town, I think that's who he is. His name is Krampus. So it's very, very cliche, and it's pretty predictable so far. I mean, maybe there's something coming that I'm not aware of. I don't know. I doubt it. So I'm struggling a little with that one. Then there was like a Mistletoe Mystery, a maid novella that I read. Didn't like that one. It was a very, very quick read. I read it in 2 different sittings. One was at a hospital appointment with my mom. So the first half I basically read at that appointment, and then the next half I read before I went to bed. So if you're looking for a quick read, it's a good, quick holiday read. But I personally was not in love with it. Very, very, very obvious and predictable, in my opinion. So book club meeting for December is this coming Monday. So we will be talking about Verity, and we'll be picking our next book. Pretty excited about that. The other thing I got, now this is going to be a Christmas gift, for myself. But I got oh no, it's waking up. Let's put it back to sleep. I got a Kindle, and as you can see, I'm reading Fourth Wing at the moment. A girlfriend of mine convinced me to read The Fourth Wing. Also in the month of November, I finished the Throne of Glass series. Guys, no one told me. No one told me. So good. So good. And I definitely have that. I'm in that period of mourning where it's like, I will never get to read that for the first time ever again. Highly recommend the Throne of Glass series. I started with Assassin's Blade. I started the Throne of Glass series forever ago, like in the spring. And then I started with Assassin's Blade, which there's some controversy about at what point to read that book. I recommend starting with it. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but I'm the kind of person that wants the backstory first. And I think that it made an event that happens in the first Throne of Glass book a little more impactful. Can't say anything, don't want to spoil anything, but if you read the prequel, Assassin's Blade, before the first Throne of Glass book, I think it helps with a backstory, to characters, to personality traits, and the event, one of the main events that happens in the first Throne of Glass book. That's all I'll say. And then I got to the tandem read, which is Dawn, Tower of Dawn, and I can't ever remember the name of the other book, but the tandem read, I listened to Throne of Glass. I've listened to all of the Sarah J. Maas books, so I wanted to keep that going. I didn't want to physically read a book after doing the Audible for so long. So the tandem read, when you were listening, was difficult because I was constantly having to refer to the screenshot of the instructions that I had on my phone, constantly having to flip back and forth and pay attention to what chapters you're listening to. So I got frustrated with it, and I stopped in like May, and then continued in November, and I can't believe I stopped. I'm so sad that I stopped. And then I read Kingdom of Ash in like a few days, and I'll never get to do that again. And I'm so sad. So good. Definitely recommend. And I was going to start Crescent City, but I wanted a break before diving back into it. I didn't want to go straight to another Sarah J. Maas series, especially not knowing what's going to be selected for book club. But my friend convinced me to read The Fourth Wing because the third book in that series is coming out January 21st. So she's like, you have to finish it before that book comes out so we can talk about it. So I'm about halfway through. I'm 50 something % done the first Fourth Wing book, which is called Fourth Wing, and I am liking it. I'm not liking it as much as the ACOTAR series and the Throne of Glass series, but I am enjoying it, and I am finding myself, like, it's one of those situations where it's like one more chapter, and like every chapter ends on a cliffhanger, so right before bed you're like, I'm just gonna do one chapter before bed, just one, and then 4 chapters later it's midnight, you're still reading. So it does get you that way. So I am enjoying the Fourth Wing book. But yeah, well, I guess in December's video, I'll tell you what we started to read in December, but that's been something that I've really, really enjoyed. It's kind of revived reading for me again, and I love it. I'm excited about my Kindle. I have no idea how to use this thing, but I did get the free 3 months Kindle Unlimited, which is basically like, I think you can rent books. Still have no idea. I had to buy The Fourth Wing because of course the Fourth Wing book is not part of the Kindle Unlimited freebies. So whoopsie, there goes that. But I'm excited to be able to rent them. I don't know if I'm going to continue with the Kindle Unlimited after my 3-month expires. We shall see, but that's where we're at with books and reading. And then I think, yeah, we're going to get into my crystal purchases. And then tarot stuff. So tarot stuff, I did the Lionheart's Queen of Swords challenge for November. We'll talk about that and what decks I used, and that's pretty much November for me. All right, so I made some changes to my crystal dresser. This is the display that houses all my crystals. This is the area that houses all my crystals. And here I just kind of changed how I organized this wooden shelf. The top has just a carnelian and a man-made dyed quartz doohickey, but here we have the spheres. I thought I'd be able to fit more spheres in there. Not really sure what my head was thinking, but that's all that can fit there for now. Over here we have all my towers. Over here we have my carvings. I don't really love this because I don't love how much space is wasted above them, so that'll probably change. And then down here we just have like a mishmash of stuff. You can see there's another sphere there. Yes, she took a tumble and broke, and I painfully glued her back together, not very well, as you can see. So that's the situation there with that display rack. I'm kind of liking it. We'll see. I'm not really the kind of person that likes all the spheres to be in one spot, all the towers to be in one spot. So we'll see if I change it, but I kind of like the look of it for now. And I like that my towers have that wall at the back protecting them, because when I open and close drawers in this dresser, things kind of wobble a little bit. And if they're the things that are going to wobble the most, just because they're taller. If they wobble, they've at least got that wall behind them to prevent them from falling behind my dresser, which I'm pretty sure there is one back there. It's been there for a couple of years because I can't find it. So then we move over here and we have this moon display. Let's get the shadow out of the way. This used to house my tumbles, all of them, and I had them organized by color. I loved it. I thought it was great. However, it was getting a little too full. And when I would like go digging through to pick one out, things would fall over, things would tumble out to the side, and things were buried, so I couldn't always see them. So I decided this was going to be a seasonal thing. So I'm going to seasonally switch out what crystals I keep in here. So we'll look at this deeper in a second, but this is November's display for this. Now, what did I do with my tumbles? Over here. This was for makeup. I had 2 of them, so I consolidated 2 into 1, and now I use this for my tumbles. And I love it. At first I was a little worried about keeping them in drawers. I don't like to keep my things in anything with a lid or anything like that. I like to be able to see them, because if I put them in something with a lid, if I put them in a box or something like that, I'm out of sight, out of mind for me. I'm not going to use them. But this, as you can see through it. So I feel like it doesn't cause too much of an obstruction for the stuff in the back, and I can still see them. So I kind of like that idea. And when you pull them out, you have a really clear view of what's inside. You can even see it through the top. So how I've done it, let's go back to that first drawer. How I've done it, I did it by color, by chakra. So this is like third eye and crown chakra. So we've got the whites, the pinks, the purples. I'm not really sure what chakra pink is, but it fits in this one, and we're putting it in this drawer. So that's what's in this one. Next one is blue and green. So heart and throat chakra, blue and green crystals in this drawer. And then our last drawer is the solar, the root, and the sacral. So we've got our yellows, oranges, and blacks. So that's working out really well, and I really have, I've kind of used them more, used my tumbles a little more. And I don't know if it's just because it's new and exciting and different, but it just feels so much more organized than just having them all kind of tumbling over in that display, just kind of like a big pile of them. So that's what's happening with the crystal display area. And you've probably snuck a peek at some of the new ones that I've already bought, unless I've already showed you. Not sure what order I'm doing this video in. So I did buy more crystals. I had my open box, if you'll remember from my last video. So that open box did come in, and I'm going to show you the crystals that I got with that order and talk about the ones I've been using and how I've been using them. So we'll start with the ones you probably already saw. This here is a purple dendritic opal. So dendrites are those black, kind of like stringy pieces going through. That's a dendrite. You'll see it a lot in kind of similar to moss agate. It kind of looks a little dendritic, although it's not dendrites in moss agate, but purple is supposedly fairly rare for a dendritic agate, or dendritic opal, sorry. So yeah, I ordered the purple dendritic opal palm. This is really good for spiritual stuff. It's really good for intuitive stuff. Haven't too much worked with this one. This one I've worked with just in the last couple of days. I just had it in my bed, which is kind of risky. I have found like intuitive or spiritual crystals to be something risky to put in your bed because it makes your dreams a little wacky, but don't think I did have any wacky dreams last night. Then we have this piece of marcasite. So marcasite is pyrite in, oh my God, forgot the word. Pyrite and agate, there we go. So this is stunning. Let's focus. It's just so pretty with the gold and the blue and how the pyrite plumes like that. I just love it. So this one, I probably won't like work with this one. This is just a pretty one to have out. Decent size, nice and chunky. So that's another one that came with that order. Another one, I'm obsessed with this piece. We'll start by this side. So this is another, you can see the camera, this is another pyrite one. We got another pyrite guy here, but it is with golden healer. And when you look at this one, when you get right in there, the texture is just, I was blown away by this crystal with the pyrite and the golden healer in there. That is just something else. I've never seen anything like it. This is also called Lionsgate. So this is a great one for manifesting. So I will work with this one when it comes to manifesting. It's quite heavy. Pyrite is quite heavy. So that is quite the chonker. Then I ordered this moonstone. This one I ordered with a specific intention. See if I can get it to flash for you. I didn't get one that has a big flash to it. That wasn't the purpose of the purchase, but it does have a blue flash somewhere. Oh, I just saw some sparkly bits, but it does have a blue flash. Oh, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but let's see if I can. You can see the blue flash kind of coming through there. There's some there. The lighting, oh, there we go. It's like glowing. But I didn't care to get one with a flash in it too much, just because I had a specific intention and didn't really care. But you can also see this, if you get Moonstone, if I mentioned this is Moonstone, there's blue specks. That's aquamarine, and this one has, as you can see, a little bit of smoky in here as well. And the black in Moonstone is tourmaline. So we'll talk about that one because that's one I've been working with. Another one I got is this stunning blue lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli is great for sleeping, great for headaches. Also, it's a third eye chakra guy, so again with the intuition, all that kind of jazz. We'll put that one there because we're going to talk about it. Is there hair on it? Yep. And the last one, which I'm like most excited for, I was so excited to get this, is this stunning piece of white aragonite. I love how stabby it is. Very technical term. Very sparkly. Again, the lighting is kind of washing it out, but I just love it. I love how it sits. We can get it to focus back to where we were. It's just really cool. And I've found myself gravitating more towards crystals that are like this, like not necessarily polished or tumbles, just crystals that are a little different looking. So that's kind of where my head's been at lately with crystals and what I've been drawn towards. Put everything back. I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing stuff. Oh, I am. It's in the moon tray. So I'll show you when we get to the moon tray part. These two. I don't like hearts necessarily. I'm not like drawn to heart crystals. I don't love them, but this blue was stunning. It was just such a great piece of lapis lazuli, and there's, you can see little flecks of pyrite in there. The really like that's like indigo blue, so pretty. So this one I've been working with for sleeping, and I've kind of accidentally ended up working with both of these together. So both of these have been in my bed with me since I bought them. And I love it. I'm really enjoying working with them. This one I purchased specifically for hormone balance. So I believe perimenopause is probably starting for me at this point in time. So I, as the recommendation of my crystal dealer, Ariana, I got this piece of moonstone for hormonal balances. So it's been hanging out with me a lot. It's been hanging out with me in bed. It's been hanging out with me at my desk. I have put it in my bra, which, I mean, it's a chunky monkey. And yes, I am able to get that in the bra without being detected. So that's been really fun, and I'm really enjoying working with it. I imagine I'll be working with this one for a very long time because menopause is it's probably gonna last for the rest of my life, if we're being honest. So this one is for perimenopause and menopause. Been working with it in that way. So these two guys I've been really close with over the last, well, since they've come into my possession. So moon tray. Now I've rigged myself up here so that it's going to be hard for me to grab this. The other new one that I got is in this moon tray. It's this guy right here. This is a piece of petrified wood, and it was, as you can see, made in Mexico. But I have a special place in my heart for petrified wood just because there's a petrified wood forest in Arizona. And that's where my sister lives, and I go to Arizona. I have a very special place in my heart for Arizona. So even though that one's not from Arizona, I'm obsessed with it. This is also petrified wood. This was a gift. No idea where this came from, if this did come from Arizona or if it came from Mexico, but that's what that is as well. So the moon tray, November's moon tray. I didn't start doing this at the beginning of November. I started doing this kind of like a week or two into November. And the beginning of November was rather sunny, but the last half of November has been pretty gloomy. So I feel like this tray reflects that very, very well. We've got some black and white crystals, so some clear quartz and a mishmash of black. There's black onyx, there's, is there a piece of tourmaline in here? I'm not sure. There's a little piece of smoky in there. We've got some black moonstone. We've got garden quartz. We have the 2 petrified woods. We have a black sardonyx. We've got 2 volcano agates. And this is a, I don't know, this is my rainbow sheen obsidian. So it does have some purple in it, but you got to get it in the right light. Purple, green, and turquoise are in there. So I felt like it was okay to put in here because you don't really see the purple, green, and turquoise. Yet another heart. I said I don't like hearts, and now I have 2 of them. Well, I have more than 2, but that's a whole other story. So I thought it would be cool to set this one up for December together. I wanted to do green and red, but red crystals, they come across as orange. Like this is a red jasper, but it's clearly orange. So green and orange would be a little pukey, I think, especially for the Christmas vibe that we want. So that's not happening. So then I started thinking about what other colors are Christmassy. So green for sure. And I think we're going to stick with green and white. So the clear quartz might still hang out here. We might need them as space fillers. Oh yeah, that's a smoky as well. We might need them for space fillers. But let's see how it looks. I'm a little nervous that I, A, don't have enough green and white together. B, it's going to look gross. So let's reset and do this together. Okay, so I pulled some additional green ones that I have in another area where I keep bigger palm stones in my bedroom. And the white is up here. So this one is going to go in here just because I feel like I'm going to need it because I don't have a lot of white. So it is going to go in there, but it'll be used. It'll be taken out like quite frequently. So we'll get green out. So there's quite a bit more green in here, but I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if we're gonna need them, but we totally are. This green is kind of like a turquoisey, so that's kind of where my concern came in, like where it will kind of look a little maybe gross. I don't know. Same with that one. It's pretty turquoise, but if we flip it over, it's a little darker. So there's a lot of malachite in here. 1, 2, 3. These are all malachite. Those 4 pieces are malachite. This is green moonstone, and this is green aventurine. This is also green aventurine. Oh, that's a blue guy. We have some green fluorite. Is that all the green we have? Let's work with this for now, and then we'll start adding in the whites. Well, that was made to go there. This might be a little too big. I don't know how I feel about that being in there, but like I said, we might need it. Okay, so for the whites, this selenite, very pretty. We have yet another heart. I've made a giant liar of myself. That's howlite. Lots of howlite pieces. Moonstone. This is a piece. Wow, that was probably really loud. Sorry. That was a piece of moonstone. I believe this, oh yeah, that's moonstone with that shine. It's washing it out so bad, but it's got a really nice shine. I don't even know what this is, but it's got a pretty sheen to it. It's white. Oh God, guys, I don't know how I feel about this. I am not liking it. I don't know. There's a lot of space. So yeah, I definitely don't have a lot of green and or white together. I do have another piece of howlite that I keep by my bed, so I can grab that. And tree agate, which is both green and white. I missed it the first time I was digging through here. Tree agate is green and white. It's like basically the same as moss agate. It's just not as clear. Yeah, I don't like all the negative space that we have in here. I need that. Turns out I need that big guy. Guys, what do I do? I mean, there's Amazonite, which is kind of a green. It's a light green. So we can toss some Amazonite in there to help offset that space. This green sparkly number, can't remember what this is called, but it's good for empaths. It helps with saying no. Guys, I do not know how I'm feeling about this. Let's get that other howlite. This looked much better in my head. Oh, there's a piece of, this is green fluorite, but it's very, very pale. It adds a little texture. I wonder if with this lighting, I have a black light. You can see the fluorite goes purple. Even that guy back there went purple. Anything else in here glow? Moonstone a little bit. The moonstone, I think that's just because it's white though. Nothing else really glows, just the fluorite. Guys, that's it. That's all I have that I can think of at the moment. I have a green aventurine elephant, but I don't really want to put an elephant carving in here. Does this look like Christmas? I don't think it does. I do not think it looks like Christmas. I'm going to see how I feel about it. I'm going to leave it and see how I feel about it. I swear to God, every day there's a car alarm on my street. I had higher hopes for that. It kind of looks pretty when it's on the table. Okay, well, whatever. That's that. But I will be taking that moonstone. It's not really gonna live in there. It's gonna come out and be used. So it won't really. There'll be a blank space. Isn't that a Taylor Swift song? I don't know. Let me know what you think. How terrible does this look? Anyway. Let's talk about decks, baby. So, the decks I used this month. I kind of didn't really have like a method to my madness for the month of November. I did the Queen of Swords challenge on Lionheart's Instagram, and for this one I did kind of want to switch it up. I typically, when I do tarot challenges like this, I use one deck for the whole challenge, and this time I was like, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to use whatever decks I feel like using. So I started off with the Ritual Tarot. I only used it once, so we're not including it in here. I literally pulled one card with the Ritual Tarot. It wasn't the vibe. Then I switched to the Marigold Tarot. Same thing. I only pulled one card and it was not the vibe. And then I got to thinking about the Wild Unknown, and it was the vibe for part of it. So we've all seen this deck many, many times over. This I really enjoyed using for the Lionheart's Tarot Challenge. It worked out really well. I'm a little shaky because I'm starving. So this deck I do feel called to use in these months, in like November, December, January, all the white space with the mostly black line work, artwork. The splash of color brings hope for the coming warmer months that are still a ways away, but they're on their way. Always got to have a little hope. So I really enjoyed working with this one for the Lionheart's Queen of Swords challenge. Also, this deck feels very Queen of Swords to me. It gives me a Queen of Swords vibe. So I love it when I bust out the Wild Unknown because I feel like it's seen so much love and it gets so much attention that it's almost kind of like people don't really use it too much anymore. At least that's how I feel about it. So anytime I get to use it, I'm like, yes, please. Love it. So that was the other deck I used. This was probably like mid tarot challenge. This one has been the end. We'll get to the one that I used for the first part of the challenge, but it's new this month, so I have a lot to say about it, so we're saving it to the end. So for the second half of the Lionhearts, Queen of Swords Tarot Challenge, I used the Heaven and Earth. Again, it's one that I have the vibe for this time of year. I've edged mine in gray, and I think it is so fantastic with the backs and the fronts. So this one is fantastic for this time of year. It is another one that I feel I've only had it for a year, I believe, maybe a little more. So it is one that gets love in the colder winter months. And as I said with my crystal spiel, the last half of November was very gray. It's not been very sunny. So perfect. Let's look at the gray deck. This one's fantastic. It works really well. And again, Queen of Swords energy for me. Not as much as the Wild Unknown. Now that I'm saying it, I don't know. I think it's just the gray, the silver, the gray, and it's giving me swords. The silver, the gray feels like very much like the suit of swords to me. So maybe that's why. Oh, just as I say the sun hasn't really been out, it comes out. So this has been one that I used for the last couple weeks of the challenge. So the Wild Unknown probably, maybe the last 10 days for this guy. But this is a great deck to have. Great reader. Very informative with all of the symbols, and it's got, it's Thoth influenced, I believe, as well. So just great. We love it. And the new one that I got, I started off after I tried the Ritual Tarot, after I tried Marigold Tarot, and they were not the vibe. I thought, you know what? I got this new deck. Let's give it a go. So I used it for the first bit. It did not feel Queen of Swords to me. It did not give me Queen of Swords vibes, but I just wanted to try it. I wanted to see how it would work. It's the Millennial Tarot. I had my eye on this deck when it was indie, and I never pulled the trigger. So when I heard it was coming out mass market and there was a pre-order available, I was so close to pre-ordering, so close, and I thought, no, I'm going to wait. And then it was like dirt cheap. It was like less than $30. So I was like, I'm going to do it. And I have things to say about it. We're going to talk a lot about this deck. So, right off the hop, a note on art creation. The tarot card images in this deck were developed in collaboration between artist and technology. They were created in part by generative AI. This is my first AI deck, to my knowledge. I knew it was AI before I bought it, so it's not like I got hoodwinked. I knew it was AI. The reason I was okay with getting it is because they did talk about this in their Kickstarter, I believe, created in part by generative AI. So some of it is art that they have done, and some of it is AI art. So I felt a little better about purchasing it, with it being partly AI generated. That being said, there are definitely, when you look at it, there's definitely parts you can see that are AI, more so in the indie version, which there's one card in particular that we'll talk about. Box. I hate it. I don't like using the word hate, but this one, I really dislike. So it's got the magnetic closure that way. You open it up and the book slides out. But I find like to get the cards out, you almost have to take the book out unless you really bend this piece back and pull them out that way. Getting them back in is a whole other nightmare. So we're going to talk about both of these things. Let's get them out. But yeah, not a fan. I don't know who they consulted on this, who said, yes, this is the box for you, because not great decisions were made there. So Ooh, what do we do first? I'll talk about the book first. So I did read this book a lot. Even before I started pulling the cards, I was reading the card descriptions. It's okay. The spreads are fun. I haven't done any of them. Where'd they go? I just saw them. Obviously, it's very millennial based, which is what I liked. Spreads for days. Spread the love. Spread the wealth. Spread dead redemption. Spreads in the city, all spread out. Spread wide open. Spread your wings. Is that... Yeah, that's all we have here. Pretty cool. Card deets. So we're just going to flip to a random... Not an ace. Let's do another one. So what I don't love, so they have keywords on the cards. So this is couples costume, 3 of Fields, 3 of Cups. I wish that the 3 of Cups or 3 of Fields was in this size and that the keyword was in that size. Because when you're flipping through looking for it, this is what jumps out at you, not the card number. So each card has a TLDR, too long, didn't read, the buildup. Then there's the sitch and real talk, reverse, and then there's a bunch of hashtags down at the bottom here. I find if you're really wanting to get a quick read, check the TLDR and the hashtags. Sometimes the hashtags don't hit quite right for me, but they give a little help. The other thing, let's get to a court. So here it's the too long didn't read is receiving a message. That's every court card. Sorry, every page for the Page of Fields. Every single page is receiving a message for the too long didn't read. Similarly with we missed the Knight. The Knight is standing up and fighting. Always, every time. Queen is mastering feminine energy. King is mastering masculine energy. So that keyword is the same for everyone. The strength card. It's funny that we flip to the strength card because it feels very 8 of Pentacles to me. So there's that. The card stock. I am not a card stock snob. Can't quite fully grab. Not a deal breaker for me. It's quite thick, but it doesn't snap back. So we're gonna do a little bit of this. It stays pretty bent. So I don't know if that means there's no core. I don't know anything about cardstock, but I really don't like it. I really don't like shuffling it. It comes out quite chunky. You can even see where it's splitting. And I'm the kind of person that likes to take jumpers, and this is not it. This is not the deck for jumpers. So we'll just do a test shuffle. Ooh. Let's do a test shuffle round 2. Oh, you can see a slight bow. It's not terrible that way, but it does... Oh, now it's making a liar out of me. Usually it's pretty bent. Anyway, we're going to look at a lot of the cards, if not all of them. So, right off the bat, we'll talk about the differences between this and the indie version. In the indie version, this was a little transparent. In here, it's not. This whole border was transparent, so you could see the rest of the scene playing out a little bit. I wish they would have left it transparent, and we'll see why. Hopefully I come to the card where I want to point it out. The other thing is they used to have keywords down here, which, if we're using the example of the court cards, mastering masculine energy, receiving a message, that part, the too long didn't read, would have been down here. As far as the images go, they did change almost every single image from the indie version. Was I saying mass market in the beginning of the video? Oh my God, I'm like, I need to eat. So almost every card is changed. And for the most part, I enjoy the changes. So that's a good thing to note. I like that it's relevant. Like the lockdown card, I like that it's relevant. So for example, this card, she didn't have that hole in her in the indie version. And the borders, they're different for each suit, and it's different for the majors as well. Again, very, very relevant. This was fun. It is a fun deck. I don't hate it. It's fun. It's very millennial. Love the dumpster fire for the tower. We still have like kind of a representation of a tower. We still have flames, but it's all, oh, and the polar bear. I always forget he's there. Very relevant, incredibly relevant. Some of them are misses, I will say, and again, to go along with the guidebook, some of them are a miss. Boozy Brunch. I love this one. Throwback for the Six of Cups. Perfect. We've got flip cup games going on. A Tamagotchi over here. Ah, speaking must speak. Big D energy. Oh my God, that was my stomach, you guys. This one was changed quite a bit, I think, from the indie version. I don't know if I love the festival goer for that one. Imposter syndrome for the 8 of coins. This is one I wanted to talk about. So in the indie version, her face is quite messed up. They fixed it, obviously. I mean, it's still, there's some little whatever, but that's abstract-y, and I think it's on purpose. The indie version, it's not abstract-y. If I can find a photo, I'll put it in. Her face is pretty messed up. So strength, DIY skills. This is very 8 of Pentacles. Even the book reads very 8 of Pentacles. Not sure what's happening there. Fine with this one. Fine with this one. The golf, I love it. Again, most I am fine with. Most of them are very clever. I love the microdose card. I love the Ace of Vibes. Love the shroom. Okay, here's another one I wanted to talk about. So in the indie, let's get the shadows out of the way. In the indie version where this is a little transparent, you can see this other person sitting in these pools. What's this room called? I can't remember what they're called. So you can see this person through the transparent of the other version. And here, all you see is the tip of the back of their head. So I do kind of wish they stuck with the transparent bottom border. So 7 says thirst trap. Interesting. I'd love to read the book on that. It might be our sample. Gaslighting. Off-grid for the hermit. Like, a lot of them are incredibly relatable. And they definitely make sense, and you can work with them. That one's cute. This one came up for me in a reading where it was incredibly appropriate. And I love it when that happens, especially with a new deck, because it really just kind of validates keeping it and purchasing it in the first place. So even the keywords, the sorry, not sorry. This is one, I have no idea what all those things are. I mean, I think she's obviously Etsy, so maybe it's like part of her earrings or whatever it is that she's making. I have zoomed in. I've had this up to my face. I don't know what those are. The trees, I remember this one. The trees were what was added in this card from the indie version. the ick. Oh my God, so relatable. This one, I'm pretty sure there were either no people in the background or less people. And that's what was added. And like her yoga mat is cut off by that border. Frenemies. Like, there's a lot of really cool details, like the little justice hammer, whatever that's called, in the head. That sounded violent. It's not. Again, I wish we could see more of what's happening down here in that card. This one, the vape was added, or I can't remember if it was changed or the vape was straight up added. Again, I think, is that another mountain down there that got cut off? This would have been helpful to see with the DJ table. I think it just takes away from it. I think they should have kept that border transparent. Love this one, student debt. So all in all, I'm happy that I got it. I'm gonna keep it. I think it's a cool one to use with friends. The bike was changed in that one. I think my friends will get a kick out of it for sure. This one, the hands are definitely AI. I don't even know it. The perception is right because it's index finger and thumb on the outside. So the perception is right. They just still look wrong. And second last card, is that the box cover? No. That one is very familiar to me. Maybe it was the previous box cover. And then Literally Obsessed. Seven of Feels. And the book is organized by color. So again, the borders are color coded. Love it. So we have Thirst Trap for the 7. Too long, didn't read, stepping out of your comfort zone. The Sitch. There you are, casually scrolling through your feed when, bam, a risque, not safe for work post pops up. It can be challenging not to stop or even click. You know you're just curious. No harm in a quick peek, right? Before you know it, you're a decade deep in their social media history, considering, even if only for a second, hitting that follow button or sliding into their DMs. Real talk. Notice the temptation and ask what desire, void, or craving you believe it will satisfy. You may be surprised to learn there is something very sane and logical that you feel you're not getting when you voice the root of your temptation and realize what you're actually looking for. It's a long sentence. With that clarity, it often becomes obvious that the temptation won't scratch the deeper itch. Suddenly, the surface level desire dries up and your thirst is quenched. More often than not, taking the bait has become habitual, and it takes more than logic to deprogram the cycle. Repeatedly being aware of the temptation, one nude at a time, and opting to not engage is the surest way to get its grip on you to loosen. Reverse, reverse. Caught in the whirlwind of instant gratification, your desires are swiftly met. It sounds nice, but when the wants are eliminated so quickly, you're never compelled to see what real needs are beneath them. It's like quenching thirst with salt water. In the long run, it can feel unfulfilling because you never satiate the deeper desire and are, essentially, forever dehydrated. Consider cooling off with a metaphorical cold shower, practicing some delayed gratification, and focusing on your long-term aspirations and deeper emotional needs. The hashtags are impulse control, back on the apps, not safe for work, social media addiction, finsta, and thirsty. Okay, so when I read Thirst Trap, my mind went to me as the person reading this card posting a thirst trap, not me as the person reading this card seeing a thirst trap. So now it makes more sense. And I did find that quite a bit with this deck, that the more, if I did get a card, with the exception of the Strength card, because it even reads in the book like an 8 of Pentacles, but if something did confuse me, I went to the book and I was like, oh, that makes total sense. So that was my experience with the Millennial Tarot. Let's try and get it back in here. Again, not upset that I bought it. I think it's fun. I enjoyed working with it with the Queen of Swords Tarot Challenge, or with the, I guess it's the Lion Hearts Tarot Challenge. So it worked out, and I'm like I said, I'm glad I have it. I don't know how often I will use it for myself. It might just be one of those kitschy, you know, I don't know that I would want to do a serious reading with it. It's more fun, more funsies, and more like, there's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but more, it's just fun to bring out with friends and play with kind of thing, kind of feels. Those are the decks I worked with. I did not work with a single Oracle deck this month. I didn't even notice it until a few days ago. I was like, I don't think I used a single Oracle this month. That's never happened. I was feeling the tarot this month, apparently. I also have no clue what Oracle pairing I would pair with this. I went through my whole list of Oracles, can't think of a single one. So if you have any suggestions, hook a sister up, because I got nothing. There we have it. There's November. We are into December. I've already, as I said in the beginning, filmed a portion of December's video because I didn't want to get things confused and I wanted to put things away after I bought them. So on this gloomy, stormy day, that snow is coming down. It's so pretty. We haven't had a white Christmas in a really long time. Not in this sense, like maybe we've had a dusting, but we got dumped on earlier this week and that snow stuck around. And now we're getting another 10 to 15. It is very pretty. It's very pretty. Don't love driving in it. I have a history of accidents, not even in the winter, just people like to hit me. So I get a little nervous about driving in this weather. Other than that though, it's very pretty and I'm looking forward to hopefully a white Christmas. Hopefully it sticks around for the next 3 weeks. So thanks for watching November's wrap up.